Hello and welcome to the agenda. I'm Ajay Kaul. In this program today we will analyze the recent attack by Maoists on security forces and how such attacks can be averted and casualties avoided. Details are still unfolding and the country is coming to terms with the shocking fact that 28 security personnel were killed by Maoists in a single attack in Chhattisgarh. In fact, it turns out that the security forces fell into a trap laid by the Maoists. While there is outrage and sadness over the incident, a number of questions are also being raised over it, since such big attacks have taken place earlier also. In the agenda today, we will try to understand whether such attacks can be averted and casualties avoided. We have with us former Director General of CRPF, Mr. Prakash Mishra. CRPF is the leading force which is countering Naxalism in the country. And we also have JNU Professor Badri Narayan. But before we start our conversation, have a look at this small report.
As of now, 28 security personnel have been confirmed dead in the Maoist attack in Chhattisgarh 4 days back. Perhaps the number may rise as several security personnel were injured in the massive attack by around 400 Maoists on a large contingent of about 2,000 security personnel. The security personnel became victims after being lured and misled by inputs about the presence of two top Maoist leaders in the forest area of Sukhma. Once inside the area, the Maoists encircled them and attacked them using sophisticated weapons like rocket launchers and assault rifles. The security personnel fought back bravely during the gun battle, which lasted for about 4 hours. However, the Maoists had tactical advantage, perhaps mainly because of the knowledge of the terrain. Like has been their practice, the Maoists looted the weapons from the fallen security personnel. This is not the first time that the Maoists have carried out such a big attack, and therefore it has triggered questions regarding the operation. There are questions related to intelligence. There are also questions regarding the planning and execution of the operation against the Maoists. The CRPF chief has insisted that there was no intelligence failure, but somehow has to explain how the operation was botched up. After all, the dead security personnel are not just numbers, but were near and dear ones to many. Bureau report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Mr. Mishra and Mr. Badri, Professor Badri Narayan. Welcome to the program, both of you, sirs. So I'll first go to Mr. Mishra about this recent ghastly attack on the security forces, in which so far 28 security personnel have been confirmed as killed in action. So these attacks keep happening. We saw 2 years back also there was a big attack, and earlier 10 years back there was the biggest attack on when 79 security personnel were killed. So, but while there is outrage, there are questions also whether these attacks can be averted. Mr. Mishra.
Well, you see, we have been dealing with this problem for a very, very long time. And it is not just confined to Chhattisgarh. It was almost a problem which persisted in many parts of the country, especially the eastern parts, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, parts of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. You will agree with me that security forces and the have done very well in this problem over the past few years. And the problem has reduced in a large extent. And earlier, hundreds of districts have been affected. Now it has come to about 30 or even less. So, not that this kind of problem or attacks on security forces happen every day. The security forces have been conducting a series of, I think, um, raids and patrolling that is every day, almost every day. This particular incident and in the past, you have referred to some incidents, are incidents where there has been something which has gone wrong, and the Naxal party has been able to have a better edge over the security forces. The security forces have been trying the best to avoid such incidents. But you understand that in a situation like this, sometimes things can go wrong. That doesn't mean that and we should try our best to avoid incidents. And I'm sure that the different agencies involved in this planning this operation would go into the details of what went wrong, how to avoid these things. And I'm sure that the upper hand very soon.
Yeah, apparently what has gone wrong is that apparently there was a trap. They were led into this, that there was some input, intelligence input, that some top Maoist commanders are there, and so that is why the operation was launched and they fell into that trap. So, kind of here again the question leads to intelligence, whether the intelligence was proper or it was deliberate. I mean, there is that questions remain about the intelligence factor. Mr. Prakash, Mr. Mishra.
Intelligence is something which comes subtly, that there are various types of intelligence. There's a general kind of Naxal is present in that. There is a specific sometimes that particular group is in a particular. So when the action and information about something is very specific, and the feel that they can take some action, I think operations are planned. I'm not can't comment on the in this particular case, but I don't have details. But in any case, the forces had gone to, and I think particular spot when we were returning, they were attacked as. I think folks know that this was operation by the Chhattisgarh the CRPF. They went together.
Right.
It seems that the Chhattisgarh police was fired on the sub inspector hitting them. Unfortunately, the first hit resulted in, and in that confusion, I think a lot of people lost their life. The our team, which was nearby, I think, went to maybe help them. They also got at the right. So that is what I gather. We're not very sure, but
Yeah.
this is what apparently happened. And I'm sure that they will take another measures.
Yeah, I'll go to Professor Saab. Professor Saab, as you heard Mr. Mishra about that corridor, the red corridor was big enough earlier. Now it has been confined. I mean, it has been contained. But Sukhma remains the hotbed still. So why do you think Sukhma still has that? I mean, the sting in Maoism. What is your view?
I think Ajay, Sukhma is a symbol, no? Sukhma is it is
microcosm of the problems which are still existing in that tribal corridor or the forest corridor. Yes, it's true that the expansion of corridor is restricted by the police action. But still, this problem is persistent. And I think there are only development, negotiation, and persuasion are three ways through which one can evolve a permanent solution of this kind of problem. Police action will help us to control, but to reduce it, to completely wipe out this kind of problem, we need to work on the issue of development of the entire zone, and development as a reply of various kind of political assertions which come through because of the underdevelopment.
Right.
And negotiation and persuasion, because we need to evolve a space where they can come and interact. We wish to they come and they surrender and they join, they come out from the forest area. This happens. But we still need to evolve the spaces of negotiation with them. Not negotiation is not right term. Negotiation, we have to give something. Just
Communication,
interaction,
maybe
no?
communication.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
So dialogue and development are the ways through which we can respond to this kind of problem. And Sukhma is a region, is an area which is symbol, no? It's a microcosm of the problem. So we should not only see Sukhma. The problem is like a Sukhma. No, they say when a wound takes place, it takes place at one place, but its impact remains in various parts of our body. So similarly, this kind of problem is like cancerous. No, it's like cancer.
Yeah.
So cancer looks at one place, but it remains at various parts of the body.
Yeah.
So we have to deal it with very cautiously and patiently, and we are losing our people, we are losing our human force, we are losing our army person, police person, army police person, that person, and it's a big loss for the people and the state. But I think that, as I said, development and dialogue and development
but
are
Professor,
the ways to resolve that kind of problem.
Professor Saab, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah. So as you talked about development and you talked about problems are still there, I want to know what are the problems, and talk about developments. As we know, the Maoists or Naxals or their sympathizers don't allow development to reach these interior areas. What we have learned, I mean, the government or governance is not allowed. If you are last 2 years back when we saw that there was some road project which was attacked by Maoists. So there are these problems which, I mean, development is not allowed to reach these areas. So what do you say on that?
You're true.
There is one way to look at that. They are not allowing to development enter in their zone, and that's true. But that is our challenge. That is a challenge which we have to face. We have to explore the way, and it is our battle, and we have to explore the way. And that, and here are the role of the political leadership corps. No, we need to evolve the local leader from their region, who can help us to take that development to the grassroots. So we need to evolve agencies among them. Those agencies can help us to take that development to the region, which is the area of this content. So development is a cure of this content. But you are very right that how this development will reach. Actually, development in this process also creates a lot of allergy and irritant. And we need to resolve eradicate those irritants, like dalals emerge, like various kinds of contractors emerge. So we need to the entire zone or the apparatus of the who takes this development should be very sensitive and responsive to the region, and they should involve people in that process. I understand there is a very difficult task because sometimes they ask chanda, sometimes they ask money, and they kill people. This all happens. But I think we have to explore our ways. There is no other way.
Right.
For getting common solution. Otherwise, there is another way. KPS will kind of some IPS can come there and he will evolve entire different kind of mechanism to he deals the Punjab terrorism.
Yeah.
So that kind of, but that's a kind of thing. We can't say who will do like this.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mishra, as you heard Professor Badrinath about that development, I mean, ensuring development in those areas is a challenge, and we know that Manmohan Singh Prime Minister had said long back it's the biggest threat that the country is facing, Naxalism and Maoism. So, and we wake up only when such big attacks take place. So, my question is this issue or related issues like development and other aspects is as a package, is it being taken seriously that it needs to be?
I think the whole approach to contain the problem or to eradicate the problem of Naxalites has been a very holistic approach. You were aware that even especially after the present government has come, the focus has been more on development, and that is possibly one of the reasons why the problem has been contained to a large extent. Chhattisgarh, if you were aware, the undivided Bastar, especially the southern part, which is comprises of Sukhma, Bijapur, and Dantewada and those districts, still continues to be very, very underdeveloped. And there is very scanty role of administration. The Naxals have a free run in that area. And it is only the camps of the security forces which exist. And they have been hindering the development work. In fact, the CRP has taken on itself to construct a few roads in that area. And apart from giving protection to the parties who were constructing other roads. I will give you the small example. When I was DG, there is a place called Veji, where which used to be a very thriving small town at a certain point of time, had been completely devoid of any activities. There used to be a big hospital there, which was lying idle. There was a great big agriculture community there, who had gone away. So we made efforts to get them back. We got them back from their villages and encouraged them to start agriculture. I think the CRP also helped them in providing a tractor. And that is how some activity started in Veji.
Yeah.
And that is how I think things are progressing very fast in that area. And after that, I think the forces have moved to even deeper areas, like Kistaram, which no one ever dared to go. Especially in the Bijapur area, you would agree, when I was DG, we had gone up to a place called Karkeguda. Beyond that, all the roads have been, new roads had been dug, and no one was allowed to go.
Yeah.
So we made it a point to start a camp in Karen, where I think we are very close to the place where this particular sad incident took place. So this is how the forces have, over the last maybe 5-7 years, have been doing excellent work, and especially in development agencies also have stepped in. So I'm sure that with these two multi-pronged approach of development and heavy security, things are going to turn around very soon.
So, Mr. Mishra, so basically it is the security which is driving this. So, because administration is apparently very afraid of going to these interior areas, isn't it? Is that right?
It is true, but as I said, as we go more and more into the interior, I think the administration has started coming in. So it's just a matter of time before I think the particular devastation being caused by this particular group of 1st Battalion of the People Liberation Guerrilla Army is put to an end.
Right. So, Professor, I'll come to you. See, when we talk about terrorism, Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, we know that terrorists get funds and weapons from Pakistan. But if we talk about Maoists, as a particular incident, this incident, as we heard or read, that rocket launchers were used and sophisticated weapons were used. So the question is, where do the Maoists, who are supposed to be poor people and illiterate people, where are they getting such sophisticated weapons?
I think it's a very good question, Ajay ji, but I think I'm not the right person to respond. Maybe Mishraji or person from Home Ministry can respond on these questions. Actually, government should try to trace the travel of the weapons to them, how it reached to them.
Yeah.
And there may be some mechanism, and so that it may come in to them. But there is a difference between terrorism and nationalism. That nationalism terrorists have no mass base, and nationalism.
I understand that, but I was trying to understand the logistics, the support they get. So maybe I'll ask Mr.
Yes,
Please, Professor, you want to continue?
Yes, logistics is an issue, and I think it's a mystery for a person like me, because I don't know much their operations, how it works. We can talk about the social political implications, but not this kind of discussion. We cannot write people to respond. I think Mishra can respond.
So I'll ask Mr. Mishra about this. So you have any idea? Is there any assessment about where do these Maoists procure weapons, such heavy weapons, sophisticated weapons, which are of course very costly also?
So, I'd like to clarify on that. I would say that most of the weapons, sophisticated weapons, which we were talking of,
Yeah.
which are with the Naxals, belong to the police. Actually, you would see that in many cases, when we lose large number of men, like in this particular instance, we lost about
Yeah, I know.
22
I'm particularly talking
22
about.
people.
I'm particularly talking about rocket launches.
Yeah,
So they're also
I'm telling
seized.
you that. So whenever there is an attack on the security forces and lives are lost, I think that group carries a lot of sophisticated weapons. All those things are taken away by the Naxals. In fact, even the shoes, uniforms, and everything is taken away by the Naxals. So most of the accumulation of sophisticated arms, ammunition, and even the machine guns, rocket launchers, have at some point been snatched from the police. So in fact, we take such setbacks very seriously because apart from losing human lives, we also tend to, I think, provide arms and ammunition to the Naxals, which is something which has to be avoided at all costs. And but I can tell you for certain that their armory is not very limited. Their ammunition is drying up. They use their ammunition very sparingly. Maybe they keep it for such occasions when they see a large contingent of police force and use it on them. But otherwise, they are very not as equipped as we think they are. They have a few weapons, but not too many.
But sir, particularly talking about this particular attack, 400 Maoists using weapons. I mean, they all must be carrying at least one weapon. I mean, there's a large quantity of weapons, at least, isn't it?
Yeah, all 400 don't carry sophisticated weapons. I think in a group, and I'm not sure whether there were 400 or 200.
I mean, that is the estimate. I don't know. That is what.
What is their number?
Yeah.
So even if they were about 200, I would say that the sophisticated weapons like AK-47 or SLRs would be hardly 15 or 20, and maybe they had a LMG or something. But the others will be all equipped with country-made weapons, I think, from the musket loaders and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think that they are an army well equipped to take on the police in a big way. Their only advantage is they belong to that area. They can take you by surprise.
Yeah.
And in a jungle situation, I think lots of people don't know the exact jungle situation. Situations are totally different. In fact, once you are ambushed, I think, and especially for forces who are not too acquainted with that topography,
Yeah.
it's quite a difficult thing to get out of it. But I would say that these men fought very bravely and, in fact, inflicted damage on the Naxals to a large extent and could break the ambush at some stage and come away.
So we have to conclude. Professor sir, I want to ask you last question, maybe 1 minute. So about, as you heard Mr. Mishra saying that these people get support, local support. So why is so? Why are Naxals getting local support?
From me?
Yeah, Professor.
Yeah, actually, local support they have because they are the people from those communities. They are the people of the community itself. So, and secondly, they always try to involve people in their movement. That involvement takes place secretly. If you read the methods of working in those areas, it was they involve people, their whole planning, how to make a red zone, it's all written in Maoist discourses in China, the Cultural Revolution, if you remember. So because they are the people from the community themselves, they involve people with their movements, and they involve in various ways.
So basically, they have better
not only sympathizers, spies, those who can give the information about the police. In fact, network they produce, that is the counter state network. And in that, people play a very important role, people of the region. And secondly, what Professor Mishra was saying, their knowledge about those areas is very important.
Yeah.
Because they know each and every trees and the grass of that area, from where to go, from where to hide, and police didn't know of all these things. So the knowledge also play a very important
Very
role
true,
in
yeah.
the operation.
So I think the forces and the government need to have a better connect with local people there so that these attacks can be averted. But thank you both of you for participating in this debate today.
Thank you.
This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.